We have been following during our live streams, not so much during the podcast, but during our live streams, this trucker convoy in Canada, which has been, I don't even really want to call it organizing. They've sort of been demonstrating by blocking roads and honking horns against vaccine mandates, heavily related to provincial Canadian government decisions. And now the big thing is that the Canadian truckers are going to come to the US along with American truckers in order to protest Joe Biden's vaccine mandates. And of course, the problem with that is there really are no such mandates. The Supreme Court blocked the Biden mandate. So we're going to get to that. But there are people, including Tucker Carlson, who are now, Rand Paul is another, they are starting to lionize these truckers as heroic freedom fighters against Biden's oppressive, whatever. Let's take a listen to Tucker here telling us what's going to be happening.
And in that vein, tonight, a group of American truckers announced they will begin a nationwide truck convoy in this country starting next month in protest against Joe Biden's vaccine mandates.
Right. Now, the problem is that Joe Biden's vaccine mandates essentially do not exist. I mean, it's sort of like, we must protest against the American lockdowns. Right. What you mean sometimes people wear masks? What lockdowns are you talking about? The Supreme Court blocked the Biden vaccine mandate for employers with more than 100 employees in January. It's done. There is no such mandate. Not to mention that it wasn't even really a mandate, in that anybody who didn't want to be vaccinated could just test instead, and only once a week, not once a day, the way Fox News' much stricter requirement put in place. States are responsible for implementing their own vaccine requirements as they so please. Different states have put in place different rules. And as a reminder, the requirements for crossing the border, a big thing with truckers is, you got to be vaccinated to go to Canada or to come back from Canada, whatever. This is, number one, applying in many countries, and it's applying in both directions. So the idea of protesting Biden's vaccine mandates is bogus and bizarre. This is not really about vaccine mandates, first and foremost. It's about, once again, similarly to the Trump riots and Trump's threats for mass protests and all these things, it's about generating unrest, which they believe they can use to their advantage. And there's a few different ways in which they might do that, which we'll talk about later this week. The other important aspect of this American truck convoy that is, as usual, hypocritical and deceptive is the very same people blaming Biden for the supply chain issues, which are really global supply chain issues that need to be fixed, of course, but they're blaming Biden for them. They are going to do something which will, at least in principle, make those supply chain issues worse. It is not the mandates that are making the supply chain issues a problem. There are global economic realities that are having that impact, but taking all of these truckers who themselves are responsible for moving product around and not only taking them off the road, moving product, but also blocking roads and bridges or whatever they plan to do, that's going to make it more difficult to move products around the United States. They are going to make worse the very problem that they are blaming Joe Biden for. So it doesn't have to do with vaccine mandates, obviously, if you couldn't tell. And also remember the hypocrisy that they claim to be all about law and order, and yet they are encouraging blocking roads, which is against the law. And we can have our views. It's a completely legitimate perspective to defend that when it is time to make an impact, you don't protest in the ways that make everybody comfortable. Part of civil disobedience, long history of this, is, well, you're going to do things that are going to make people uncomfortable so that they pay attention to you. I get that. But what was their view of Antifa blocking roads or Black Lives Matter blocking roads? They were all about law and order then. And now, all of a sudden, breaking the law is justified to protest non-existent mandates that they claim to be protesting against. So the real concern at the end of the day is this going to lead to more violence and more insanity? In Canada, although there was a smattering of white nationalism, anti-Semitism, and xenophobia within these protests, they were mostly what we would generally describe as peaceful. In the United States, I worry that they won't be. And Donald Trump's continued escalating rhetoric about, oh, we're going to protest this and the biggest protests ever and all of this kind of coded language about protests, I'm worried about what's going to happen next month. We will be following it, and I'm curious to hear from you. Let me know at dpacman. What do you expect as far as this American version of the Canadian truck convoy is concerned? What do you expect to see? Science has shown us that lowering your body temperature at night helps you sleep. I can't sleep in a hot room. That's why I love our sponsor, Chili Sleep, which makes customizable climate-controlled sleep solutions to sleep better. Their flagship products are the Uller sleep system and the Cube sleep system, which is what I have. Both are hydro-powered, temperature-controlled luxury mattress pads. You can make them as cold as 55 degrees Fahrenheit. If you wanted, you could go as hot as 115 degrees. I like the cooler option. I keep mine at 60 degrees, and it gives me a great cool night of sleep. No feeling hot, no more sweating. I'm falling asleep faster, and it pairs perfectly with Chili Sleep's weighted chili blanket, which keeps you cold on top, too. And for a limited time, Chili Sleep has a special offer just for my audience. Go to chilisleep.com/Pacman to learn about the exclusive discount. The link is down below.